And then we end with an absolute thriller, an instant classic. I was watching Ole Miss come back and beat Georgia with a diehard Ole Miss fan who expects the absolute worst in every possible situation. And typically that's what happens, right? Ole Miss has these like very painful losses in big moments, like Egg Bowls, whatever it might be. Then you lose Lane Kiffin. It's this, it overshadows the whole season. Pete Golding, is elevated and everyone kind of rallies around him. You or I probably could have coached Ole Miss to a win over Tulane. We still had all these questions about Golding's defense against Georgia, a team they had already lost to. And then this game happens, and it felt at multiple points that Georgia had it under control and was like gonna be okay, right? Maybe not blow them out, but like be able to pull away. 2-score lead in the second half. Mm-hmm. And then Trinidad Chambliss like just cements himself as a college football legend forever with what he did in this Sugar Bowl. His final stat line, 30 of 46 for 362 yards and 2 touchdowns. There were those string of throws that was it 2 or 3 in a row. It was unbelievable. He played Division II football last season. And here he is taking out Georgia. You talk about what it means to go through certain teams. Yeah. For Ole Miss to go through Georgia, a Kirby Smart Georgia team, which again, it's not like this team is not as good as it was when they won back-to-back titles.
But it's still Georgia.
Georgia. They won the SEC championship. That's like right. They were playing so well coming into this game. Yep. And Pete Golding even had some of his own snafus and time management stuff in the first half. Kirby had some late in this game. And Pete Golding beats Kirby Smart. Trinidad Chambliss wins this game, goes out and wins this game. Ole Miss with a coaching staff that's like kind of half at LSU and riding out this run with them for Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin's at an LSU basketball game because he wisely decided it was not a good idea to attend the Sugar Bowl. That is the Ole Miss
Kim
team
Mulkey
that wins the game.
All right. So that snafu you mentioned on Pete Golding's side at the end of the first half, where they had the play drawn up to go to the sideline, tight end catches it on the sideline,
and he runs into the field.
I'm going to have a smooth brain for one play, and I'm going to run to the middle of the field. We don't have any damn timeouts left, and we can't clock it. That's when I thought Ole Miss lost because they were already going into halftime.
I wanted to add, he also decided to go for 2 early.
Yeah.
To kind of just like make the score look right.
Right. I didn't have as big of an issue with that. I thought it was too early, but
that made me think like, oh, this is a brand new first-time head coach, right? So then
you're in over your head.
Yes. So you have that, and then you have the clock management issue.
Yeah.
At the end of the first.
That was the point where I'm like, okay, they're down going into halftime. They just had this disastrous end to the half. I'm like, Kirby's gonna dial some stuff up in the locker room and like, hey, best of luck to you in the offseason. Like, hope they don't poach your whole roster. And the second half, you mentioned Trinidad Chambliss, like some of the plays that he made, he had that one, he was under duress and ran all the way back into the freaking end zone, basically, and then delivers an accurate ball. Just like, oh my God, what are we doing? They talked about it on the broadcast. Georgia's playing 2 high shell and RPO. You typically run the ball. And Trinidad's like, nope, I got one-on-one on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and throw this ball perfectly where only my receiver can catch it for a touchdown. Like he played out of his freaking mind. And like Ole Miss defense be damned, because I don't think they necessarily had a great game. Like that to me was the biggest difference there. And then I when I woke up this morning, I got to this point. I'd love to hear you talk about this. It has nothing to do with the game. Those guys who are going to go work for Lane and all the players, the portal open today that think that they're going to, like, are you starting to be like, maybe I kind of like it here? Are you starting to be like, I can't leave this place after what we've done so far? If they win one more, it becomes an interesting thing for me.
I think this gets to like one of my overall questions and theories and just like interesting situations. When they announced that there was going to be one transfer portal window and these were the dates, I remember being like, okay, this is the reason that they're going to do this and they're going to say this is because, it was open when everyone was still playing. before in December. Now it's only going to affect the 4 semifinal teams. Now we're going to see it like very much impact these 4 semifinal teams because Oregon has 2 coordinators who are head coaches of Power 4 programs, Cal and Kentucky. You also have just all of the dynamics here between Ole Miss and LSU. And if there were going to be players that were going to follow Lane and half of the staff to LSU, you also, by the way, have Ole Miss has a hell of a kicker who like feel like he should dip his toe into the portal just to see how much a kicker could get paid. Like
I think Ohio State should pay him $1 million personally, but
I mean, like he was phenomenal. So that is going to come into play here. And obviously there's already been some reporting around like some tension around that for the LSU staff. Like, are they really going to be able to do this? First of all, this is actually the shortest turnaround. The next games are a week away. And if you're already doing the double duty this whole time, I kind of think you got to see it out. But like the idea of, oh yeah, you could coach a team through the run versus like it actually playing out and how much time passes is fascinating. And I really do wonder if that impacts things moving forward because it is a longer and very awkward time the more they keep winning.
This goes back to Lane not thinking that he had a team that could make a run, though.
Exactly.
He thought they were going to be
because
out
he did not
now.
think this was going to be an issue on January 2nd when the portal opened.
No, he thought they were going to be cooked. He didn't think that he had a team that was going to make it to the semifinals.
Nope. I wonder if they would have done that if he had stayed. Like, I think that there is something.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think there's something galvanizing about what they went through.
We got abandoned. He didn't like us. Let's prove him wrong. He didn't think we could do it. Let's prove him wrong.
To see what we have been pointing out, that he clearly did not think we could win a national championship.
Yes.
Because he wouldn't have walked away if he thought that we could.
If he thought they could, he wouldn't have walked away.
And now the brand new head coach, Pete Golding, has a better win than Lane Kiffin has ever had.
Yep.
Now Lane Kiffin has pressure. He's got to take LSU at least to the semifinals.
Oh, he's got to win one. Like there's not a lot of time.
Year one.
Yeah. He's got to be Signetti. Year 2, you got to be in the real thick of it. Real quick, Georgia's side of this. What are your thoughts here? Because previewing this game, I felt like Georgia certainly had the upper hand.
Yes.
I felt like I thought they would have the coaching advantage. Like,
I thought they were going to blow them out. To be quite honest, like I thought they would be able to pull away against Ole Miss because Ole Miss couldn't get any stops against them the last time. So just genuinely very shocking. I thought that, I think so. Yeah, just overall shocking. And I think the most shocking part was like some of the things Kirby did in the second half.
Yeah.
Were like, he doesn't usually cost his team points, and he did.
Yeah.
And that was really mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Did he? Yeah. What was he? What? I don't know. And then the defense, I mean, like, I don't know.
I know, right? This is kind of where I'm at too.
I know. I'm like, it's hard to explain what happened there, except that like Trinidad Chambliss played the game of his life.
There were 2 outcomes this weekend, or not even the weekend, over the games that were kind of like,
what happened?
Did not expect that. And it was Ohio State and Georgia. It was the beginning and the end, right? Like those were the 2. And I think Kirby kind of overcoached it, kind of, he overthought the coaching decisions. And that's, high pressure game, high stakes. You want to get back to it. Like you can do that, but he certainly did.
Okay. So Joshua, I want to talk about like the end game sequence. First of all, this was one of the craziest finishes to a game. And then you also had like, they had to replay because time wasn't coming on. Like the final seconds weren't coming off.
Yeah.
Very confusing.
Had to put him back on the sidelines like 3 times.
Yes. So, but let's go to, okay. 1st and goal, Georgia down by 3. And it's, okay, let's see. The first one, 1:08 left on the clock.
Yep.
In the 4th quarter, down by 3, 1st and goal, they run it 5 yards. Gunnar Stockton. Then they try to run it and they lose 3 yards.
Yep.
And then they try to throw it and it's an incomplete pass.
Right.
So you don't take any time off the clock and you have about a minute left in the game. And then they go for a 24-yard field goal. Now, a couple things here. 1, why are you throwing it?
Yes.
And potentially stopping the clock. 2, do you just go for it?
So that's
Like,
kind of where I'm at is I think once you get down there in that situation, the first thing you're not doing is you're not with that offense and that quarterback on the other side, you're definitely not doing anything to stop the clock. Right. So the idea that they would throw it on 3rd and goal to me was a misstep. I am dialing up my best 4 plays, best 4 run plays to try to get the ball into the end zone at that point.
it's crazy to think that you would give really any time on the clock back to
You
Ole
can't.
Miss with the way that Trinidad Chambliss was playing. But like, of course, first of all, and a great kicker. So you're
Right.
trying to tie
Unless
a
you score a
game.
touchdown.
Yes.
If you're doing it to tie the game, that's crazy. You can't do that.
Kicking a short field goal in a situation where they're going to have time to go set up, it could be a long field goal and the guy will probably make it with someone who's completing, who can like bomb the ball all over the place is crazy to me. And so, of
Mhm.
course, it was just that 40-yard throw from Trinidad Chambliss sets up the field goal and they go win the game. And then you have the weird safety thing at the end, whatever. But that's where I'm like, you go for the win. I
Yeah.
think in that situation. And you definitely run it because you cannot give them the ball with like almost a minute left. That's way too much time for that Ole Miss offense in the way that they had been moving the ball in the 4th quarter.
So I can understand where if you decide that you want to play for the field goal, that's fine, but you have to do it as time is running out. That game has to go to overtime
Yes.
if you're going to play that
Yes.
way. For me, that is a play to win spot because Ole Miss had all the momentum anyway.
Mhm.
I'm not going into overtime in a game where I don't have momentum. And I know some people are like, well, you get to reset and you can everything kind of gets back even. You get your team back right. No, I'm not doing that. I am winning this ball game. So regardless of how they did it, if they wanted the field goal and that's their philosophy, is perfectly fine. You can't do it off of the incompletion. Throwing the ball was a mistake because of the opportunity that it hits the ground. But
Yep.
to me, that had to be a spot where you had 4 good ones dialed up and you had to try to end the game right there.
Yeah. And again, like you said, no matter what, there should not have been a lot of time left,
Mm-mm.
regardless of what your
Nope.
choice was. If it was to kick it or if it was to try to go and win the game, shouldn't be a lot of
Run the
time
ball,
left for the
run the
team
clock
that
down.
is scoring kind of at will and playing on a different
Yep.
level and everything else. It was an unbelievable finish. It's also the 2nd straight year Georgia wins the SEC and then loses in the Sugar Bowl.
What
So
does that
they
say
have
about the
actually,
SEC? I'm
or
joking.
does it say something about the first round buys? Or does it say something, like a couple different things, but I do think the results that we have seen in the playoff, and probably in bowl season as well. I know we're trying not to have like too many sweeping judgments over teams with opt-outs, but the SEC is deep. We say this all the time, but the Big Ten has the better teams at the top of the sport. And this
The
is reflected by
SEC
this, right? The Big Ten has half of
has
the semifinals and a guaranteed participant in the title game. And the SEC has Ole Miss as their last team standing here, which was not their best team this season.
the only Power 4 non-SEC team that the SEC has beaten this postseason is Michigan. It's Michigan, and then they've beaten Tulane. And the only other wins the SEC has this postseason are against the SEC.
Wow. That's really
So if we
interesting.
want to make judgments, which I don't know if it's fair to, but if we did, that would be a judgment.
Someone in my household was very excited when Iowa beat Vanderbilt. It's
I think,
I kind of think it's like that in like Illinois and Tennessee. Like it's some of those
yeah,
types of results
those are
that
the
like set the
ones.
narratives,
Yes.
that give you
That's where I
fuel.
say it's like I know people will be like, "Oh, such and such had opt-outs, whatever," but it's like we always debate about the second tier, and so I tend to want to count those results. And of course, what happens in the playoffs, we all want to count.
Yeah. No,
If
and they
we're
should. And they should
looking
because
at some of the lower bowl games, like I'm out on that, but
yeah. Yeah. And like who really wants to be there? That stuff really does
like
come into play.
Illinois, Tennessee has to count for something.
Oh yeah, true. And Iowa Vandy, like people
It
played,
has to count. Yes,
Diego played in that
Diego
game.
played.
I would say, and they fought back. That was actually a really good bowl game.
It was a good game. It was a fun game.
I would say that the conference stuff does come into play and does matter. Like it matters quite a bit for the ACC that Miami is here
Oh yeah.
in the CFP semifinals. It's a big
All
deal.
right. What about the whole 14 million going all to the Miami Hurricanes? What are your thoughts on that?
So you're saying because the ACC success initiatives
Yes.
have been structured, right? So
That's
this
where
is
that comes from?
yes. So, okay. So, first of all, this is the last year, just go in the weeds on it, of paying out like for advancing. Like last year, we spent a lot of time talking about how Notre Dame got to pocket all that money because they're Notre Dame. Starting next year with a new contract, like the ACC will get paid X, the Big Ten will get paid Y. Like the leagues will just have certain breakdowns based on historical success and like the participation in the playoff. This has all been negotiated. So it's not based on how many teams make it and how many teams advance, but that is still true for this year. So Miami advancing is winning money for the ACC. When Florida State and Clemson sued and were like trying to get out of the ACC, part of the negotiation and like the resolution was that they had this new success initiative system so that the teams that were investing and winning a lot or drawing a lot of viewership got paid more because essentially like they're carrying the weight, right? More of the football product. So Miami is going to cash in quite a bit on them winning in the CFP, reaching certain benchmarks in the CFP. Like,
so let me ask this question. If it was Virginia who won the conference and got the bid, and let's say they miraculously won 2 games in the CFP, would they have been able to pocket all the money, or is that just for the very interesting.
Yeah. There's some of it's that's tied into brand, like viewership. There's some viewership numbers and like attendance things.
Knew that.
It actually might just be TV viewership. Attendance might not play into it, but the actual on field and basketball stuff too. Like if you make the NCAA tournament, blah, 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 that's all whoever wins it. So it's incentivizing people to put money into these sports and try to be good. But yeah, Virginia would have pocketed a lot more of it as well. So it's a big deal. But it is supposed to reward the big football brands who are kind of keeping the ACC in the mix for these types of results in this type of event.